Welcome to the Fit Chicks and Hormones podcast, where we focus on all things midlife, hormones, and how to finally feel good in your body again. I'm Angie, a fellow midlife survivor and a coach, here to help you stop guessing and finally get results with hormone smart habits that actually work. Let's get started.
So I want to start by asking you something. Have you ever felt like your body just started to betray you? One day you woke up and your body was completely different. And I know there are a lot of women that happens to. I hear them. They're like, oh my gosh, I turned 40 and things just went to crap, right? Because I woke up and everything just started falling apart, or things just didn't work the same. And you were like, I don't even understand what happened. What happened? It was just like, boom, one day it's just different. And I know, because that was me. It happened to me also. And if you haven't already heard my story, I'm just going to do a real quick intro to my story and to share why and how I built something from it, because I genuinely feel like this glow method that I'm going to talk about is all the things that I have used in my life from the time I hit, perimenopause until now, being post-menopausal for 5 years now. So, perimenopause, it slammed me in the face when I was in my early 40s, and it started even before that, right? And it was not anything that I expected, because I didn't know, right? I'd heard of menopause, but I'd never heard of perimenopause. It wasn't a thing, or nobody talked about it. So back in 2012, we discovered that our home was filled with mold. And the reason I figured that out was because I started getting sick all the time. I was sick. My hormones started going crazy. I was sleeping only like 4 to 5 hours a night, waking up so exhausted every single day. Had really bad brain fog, wasn't able to think. I was, like I mentioned, constantly getting sick. My immune system was just out of whack. I was experiencing a lot of food sensitivities that never affected me before. Almost everything I ate, I'd get rashes, or I'd get hives, or my eyes would burn, or my head would itch. It was just insane, and I couldn't really figure out what was happening. I was constantly inflamed. I was also diagnosed with autoimmune called Sjogren's, so maybe you know what that is. And then I had these permanent dark circles under my eyes for years because my adrenals were completely tanked, because my body was under so much stress, not only from my hormones changing, but from living in a moldy environment. So if you've ever experienced any of those symptoms that I talked about, which ones? Comment below. I'd love to hear, right? And to let you know, it's not just you. It was me too. And these are, even though it was the mold that started everything, it wasn't because of the mold that I started going through that, right? Like, it stirred everything up, but I was in perimenopause anyway, so it was going to happen. It just hit me a lot harder because of where I was. So what I did is I spent thousands of dollars trying to figure out what was going on. I went to an acupuncturist. I went to functional medicine doctors. I went to a mold specialist. I did test after test after test. I think at one time I'd even had 30 plus vials of blood drawn. That's crazy. I remember going, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to walk out of here? The whole thing was just full of blood vials. It was insane. And I was taking all the supplements, right? Everything. Trying this and trying that. And we were constantly trying, what's going to help me feel better? Just because I was so desperate, I just wanted to feel like me again, right? And then I found an acupuncturist who specialized in hormone health. And a big shout out to Stacy Donaldson. She is located in Longmont. She was incredible and amazing, and started to teach me and educate me about my hormones and what they were and what was happening. And that's when everything started to shift. Not only was I doing acupuncture for them, but we were doing some supplementation. She was also teaching me about all these other things that I needed to do for my body to get my hormones back into balance, right? And so things started to shift slowly. Obviously, we had to move out of that moldy house because I wasn't going to get better if we lived in there. So we moved out of there, started to detox my body, detox from all the junk, and bring my hormones back to a place of where I started to feel kind of normal. And it was through that experience that got me curious about what was actually happening with my body. I was like, wow, this is all stuff that I didn't know about. And I wanted to know more about, because I love to learn. So I got certified in women's hormone health. And it was so eye-opening, because I learned that you couldn't just take supplements, right? That's not going to fix your hormones. What you really had to do was start healing from the inside out and changing how you live as you enter your 40s and beyond, right? And I also learned that obviously every woman is going to go through this experience at some point in their life. They just are. Unless this is not even nice to say, but if you for some reason don't make it to 40, but if you make it to 40 and on, you're gonna have to go through this. You just are. And so then it became my whole purpose behind all of this was to educate these women, to educate you so that you would have the knowledge that I didn't have when I started my perimenopausal journey in my early 40s, right? So I started to feel normal. So I started doing the education. I was doing the things, taking care of my body, starting to feel good again. I was like, wow, starting to feel like I'm normal again. This is awesome. And then bam, I hit menopause, which is when you no longer have a period for 12 months, right? 12 months, no cycle. And not only that, it was about the same time, I think it was like 6 months after I hit menopause, so had been a year without a period, and then the pandemic came. So if you know, post-menopausal, your hormones are dropping, right? They're super low, right? Then there's the stress of the pandemic and trying to figure out how am I going to keep my business going? What am I going to do? What's going to happen? So in all of that, I gained over 10 pounds. I felt horrible. Again, back to the no sleeping. I was having hot flashes. I was having brain fog. All the things were happening again. And I thought, oh my gosh, is this how it's going to be for the next 40 to 50 years? It was terrifying. I did not want to live that way for that many years. And because I started feeling better, I was like, no, I can't believe this is happening. Not only that, but my body changed so much. Because I woke up one morning and I had all this extra belly fluff. My body was squishy. I had extra fat hanging out everywhere. I was like, I don't even understand, this is an alien's body. It's not my body. And I was terrified. I was like, I don't want to live like this for the rest of my life. But now I had that knowledge, right? I'd been educating myself and learning more about what was going. And believe me, I'm still learning. There's still so much to learn about the hormones and all this stuff. But I was able to make changes quicker and see progress because I'm like, I know what's happening. I know why it's happening. Now I need to just put into action what needs to change because my body's in such a different place right now, right? So I took all the things I learned, everything that I'd been through, and I built a lifestyle around all of it, which was very hormone supportive because that's what we need to do, right? And not just for being able to survive, but actually thrive right now because, again, I don't want to feel awful for the next 30, 40 years. Sorry. So weird. I think just talking stirs it up a little bit. So I started to put all these things in practice. My energy came back. The weight came off. I felt better at 50 than I did in nearly a decade. I started seeing my body transform again. My body went from having no shape at all to finally having some muscle tone again. I was sleeping through the night. I wasn't having those hot flashes anymore. I wasn't having crazy sugar cravings. I wasn't having these crazy fits of being angry and then crying. I was actually starting to feel normal again. And that's when it hit me that there are so many women out there that are going through this, but they're confused or they're feeling dismissed or they just feel like they have to push through it or they're crazy. They're like, I don't understand this body I don't understand what's going on with my body right now, right? So I wanted to share with them and you what I've learned because I wished someone had told me this all those years ago because I could have started this path and started the knowledge back then. And maybe it wouldn't have been such a bumpy ride. Probably would have been a little bit, but maybe not as bumpy as my ride had to be. So I had to spend all these years figuring it out the hard way so that you don't have to. And now I'm here to teach you what to do and to talk to you about it. And now being 5 years postmenopausal, and I'm 53 years old, almost 54, I feel the best I have in my entire adult life. It's because I built a framework for balancing my hormones around the lifestyle, around the body that I have as a 50-year-old woman, okay? So here's where I'm going to introduce the glow method, something I've been talking about. I thought about this the other day. I was like, you know what? I really want to put together this framework, something that makes sense to you, to women, so that they can start to put this into action. So, and I've been doing this for over 6 years. So like I said, I started doing this at the early part of the pandemic. And as I've been doing this and coaching other women and through my own healing journey, right, I kept seeing the same thing. It was never just one thing that needed to be fixed. So it wasn't just, we need to fix your estrogen, or we need to just address your nutrition, or we just need you to move more. It was all the four foundations that needed to be focused on. We needed to put them together. It was like a piece of a puzzle. We couldn't just focus on one piece. We had to put all of them together. And so this is what I call the glow method. And I'm going to explain it real quick what it is, and then we're going to talk about the gut first. All right, so G stands for gut first. Your gut and your hormones are constantly talking. They're what are making your body function, or making your body suffer, one or the other. So when your gut health is off, everything else is going to be off too. So this is where I always start. If you've ever joined me in anything, in any program, in any challenge, you know that I'm always supporting and talking about gut health, right? So that's G. We're going to talk a little bit about that at the end here. And then there's L, live in your body. Not fighting against it, not trying to push against what it needs, not punish it, but come back to it. Be aware through movement, through being more body aware and learning what your body needs right now, instead of just trying to push and try to do what you did 20 years ago, because it's not going to work. This is the one thing that changed personally for me, everything, because I was trying to do everything that I did in my 20-year-old body and it wasn't working. So I had to shift everything and start working with the body that I was in, and that's when things started shifting. O is own your rest. You cannot out-supplement a stressed out, sleep-deprived body. Trust me, I've tried. And as you can hear from what I went through, no. So cortisol and sleep are killing women literally and tanking their hormones, causing so many health issues. So this is something that we need to address, right? My sleep right now is the most important thing for me. It is more important than my nutrition, because I know if my sleep is going to be on point, I'm going to be able to eat healthy, because I'm not going to be having those cravings. And then we have W, which is within. So this is the mood swings, the brain fog, feeling like a stranger in your life. It probably makes you feel like you're crazy, but you're not, I promise. Because you're just like, what is happening inside this body? Why am I not able to control what is going on? But again, it's because you were never told how to make certain shifts for this phase of your life. And when you understand this part of what's happening, this is when you're going to be like, aha, that makes total sense. It will click, and then you will stop feeling like you're actually losing your mind and that you're crazy. Again, I apologize for the coughing. So these 4 pillars, the glow method, are what I used to heal myself, to balance my hormones. They're what I use with every single client. And over the next 4 weeks, I'm going to be sharing all of them with you. I'm going to be sharing posts in here. I'm going to be coming live. And if you are not always getting all my stuff in here, I'm going to ask you if you want to sign up for my email letter, because I always send out an email once a week, sometimes twice. But I'm sharing guides in there. I'm sharing protocols. I'm sharing things sometimes that I don't post on Facebook or Instagram. So if you want to have access to them and make sure you don't miss out, make sure you sign up for that email. I will put that in the comments or in the show notes, so you can sign up for that if you're not already on there. And if you know a friend that has been going through this, they're talking about you. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm losing my mind. I can't lose weight. I have no energy. My body's not my own anymore. Invite them to the group. Let's get them in here so that they can learn also, so they can know that it's not just them and they're not crazy. And we can learn together what they need to do. And you can tell your doctor that tells you that it's just because you're getting older to screw off, because that's not what's happening here. All right. So each week I'm going to focus on another pillar, on one of the pillars. So right here in this community. So like I mentioned, get on the email list if you don't want to miss out, because I'll also be reminding you in the email that I'm going to be going live. But I also have guides and things that I share in my email list that I don't always share in this Facebook group. So real quick, we're going to cover G, gut first, because I obviously want to talk about this one. But most important, I want to make sure you know what you should do. So quick introduction of what I'm going to talk about real here is what's actually happening in your gut during this hormonal transition, why it's affecting your weight, your mood, and your energy, and what you can do about it. Because, right, that's what we want to know. We want to know what we should do. And like I said, stay till the end, because I'm going to tell you the exact same steps I use with my clients, and I want you to have them. So most women come talk to me, they think, oh, it's my metabolism, it's my age, it's your hormones. And yes, hormones are involved, but what is driving those hormones? A lot of the time, it's your gut. Like I mentioned at the way beginning, your gut is driving your hormones. It is in control of what is happening in your body, okay? And here's why. The gut produces and metabolizes your hormones, and estrogen especially, which is when you have a healthy gut, it clears out the extra estrogen out of the body, right? But if your gut health is off, which happens as we age, then you're going to have estrogen just circulating through your body, which is going to cause a lot of hormonal symptoms. So when the gut is off, estrogen recirculates, you get more belly fat and you can't lose weight and you have more bloating and you have more mood swings, right? And our microbiome, which is in our gut, shifts during as you head into perimenopause. So, estrogen actually helps maintain your healthy gut bacteria. Well, what's happening? Our estrogen is dropping. So that means our gut diversity is also dropping, right? And this is why the things that worked when you were in your 30s are not working in your 40s and 50s anymore, because your gut microbiome has literally changed. It is different right now. So you have to do something different. I'm going to say that over and over and over again, because trying to do the same thing is not going to get you where you want to be. Sorry about that. So poor gut health equals chronic low-grade inflammation, right? Inflammation spikes your cortisol, it tanks your progesterone. Your progesterone is your calming hormone, so you're going to have more anxiety, you're going to feel more moody, you're going to have more depression. It also blocks your thyroid function. When your thyroid's not working, then you're not going to be able to lose weight. So everything gets affected. So does that make sense? Why your gut is connected to your hormones, which is connected to all these symptoms or all these things that you're struggling with? If yes, say yes in the comments. So this is what it looks like. If you are struggling with gut health, this is what you're going to experience. So pay attention and see if any of this sounds like you. So you're going to have bloating that you're going to get right after you eat a meal, probably right away in the morning or right after lunch. You're going to feel like, oh, I got to unbutton my pants already. You're going to feel exhausted after your meals instead of energized. You're going to feel like, I just could go to bed. I could take a nap. I'm going to take a drink. You're experiencing food sensitivities. This is what happened to me. I was sensitive to everything, like foods I'd always eaten before, like peppers and just like the basic foods. I was like, I can't even eat these anymore. And they come out of nowhere. All of a sudden you eat it and you're like, oh, I don't feel good. My stomach hurts. I'm bloated. I'm gassy. I have a headache. So pay attention to those things, right? Maybe you're experiencing cravings, especially sugar and carbs, right? And you can't control them. And once you start eating those things, you have no control and you can't stop. Maybe you have that weight around your belly that just doesn't go away no matter what you do. Or maybe it's mood swings and anxiety, right? And you may not know this, but they could be tied to actually what you are putting in your body. Maybe you're having brain fog after you eat certain meals, or maybe just brain fog all the time. You can't function. None of this is just random stuff. And it's not just because you're getting older. It is, in a sense, because your gut is telling you something. Your gut is changing. Your gut microbiome is changing because you're getting older. But what needs to happen is you need to start listening and shifting what you're doing. Because if you don't, and you keep butting heads with your gut, you're not going to see anything change. So, of those things that I talked about, how many of you are experiencing? Are you experiencing the brain fog or the bloating, or you're feeling exhausted, or you have sugar cravings, or maybe your food sensitivities, things like that? Which one? How many of them? Drop in the comments. Nope, that's all of them are me, or you know what, just a few of them, or this one specifically. So let's talk about what you can do, right? What I do with my clients, what I do for myself, before you start adding supplements, before you need to focus on working out more, before you do anything, this is the number one place you need to start. And here's the steps that you need to take. So take some notes. Remove before you add. So before you start adding anything, you don't want to add supplements. You don't want to, I got to eat more protein. I got to add more supplements. I got to do more of this. Let's start removing some foods that are driving inflammation. Gluten is a big one. Dairy, alcohol, sugar, and seed oils. Those are the top ones that you really need to make sure that you are avoiding. These are the ones that I've seen so many people struggle with. So many people have issues with. I pretty much stay away from the majority of them. But when you go out to eat, you don't know what they're using to cook their food. And it's probably not avocado oil. And I notice that I just don't feel great when I eat out because I don't know what oils they're cooking their food in, right? So what we want to do is remove these. Not forever, just for like 3 to 4 weeks. So in my 21-day challenge I'm doing right now, that's what those women are doing. We are removing these things for 3 weeks so that they can get an idea of how their body responds without that added inflammation, right? And things you want to pay attention to. How your body feels when you remove them. Do you have less bloating? Do you have less brain fog? Do you have more energy? Are you sleeping better? Are you feeling less aches and pains? Those are all signs that inflammation is going down because you've removed those inflammatory foods. Next step is you want to find which ones actually are triggering inflammation and issues with you. So you're going to reintroduce those one at a time. So maybe you're going to start adding a little bit of cheese, maybe some cottage cheese, maybe some string cheese, I don't know, some dairy, maybe if you drink milk, one at a time for a week. Pay attention. Are those symptoms coming back? Oh, as soon as I ate that cheese, my stomach bloated. As soon as I ate that cheese, so I break out here when I eat cheese. Am I getting breakouts? Pay attention. Your body is telling you this isn't necessarily a food that is working for you right now. And here's to say, or it's not to say that you can never have it, because sometimes if we remove these foods for a long time, and I'm saying 3 to 6 months, you can start adding them back a little bit at a time. I just have a little bit here and there, and I'm okay with that. My body doesn't react. But when I do it compounded on top of each other, I'm having a whole bunch of cheese, and I'm having gluten, and I'm eating sugar. That's disaster for my body, right? Pay attention. Start a simple food journal for these 2 weeks, these couple weeks, as you're adding something back. But make sure that you're writing it down. You're only reintroducing one food at a time. Start with probably dairy, and then start with wheat. You don't need to add the alcohol back unless you really want to. Sugar you should probably avoid, but then seed oils, you should just replace those anyway. So the two that you probably would add back to C would be the gluten and the dairy. And then step 3, you want to feed your good bacteria. We want the good bacteria in our gut. We want it to be happy. We want it to feel good, make us feel good, right? So think about eating a large variety of plants every single week. That you need your vegetables. We all need more fiber anyway as we age, so changing out your vegetables. We do that. Sometimes it's zucchini and Brussels sprouts. Sometimes it's broccoli and cauliflower. Sometimes it's just salads and cabbage. All the different colors that you can get, all the different plants that you can get, add a variety, right? And not only that, but add some naturally fermented foods. So think sauerkraut, really good for gut bacteria. Kimchi, kefir, plain Greek yogurt is also good. Just make sure it's not loaded with sugar. So I said plain Greek yogurt, right? You can add your own berries to add your own natural sugar. You don't need the stuff that has 30 grams of sugar in it. So again, we're feeding the good bacteria, and simple ways to do this. And then number 4, we want to support your gut lining. So things like bone broth, collagen peptides are good. L-glutamine, this is something I just talked to a client about using. She's having some digestive issues, so we added glutamine. I've done this with a couple of other clients. And zinc. These all repair the gut lining that your hormone changes are breaking down. This is a game changer if you're reacting to a lot of things. L-glutamine, I just feel like it's the number one thing in the world. If you have questions about it, reach out to me. Don't start it on your own. Just reach out and I can answer any questions about it. So bone broth, collagen, L-glutamine, and zinc. Supporting your gut lining. Number 5, we need to calm down the nervous system. Your gut heals in a parasympathetic state. Parasympathetic means calm, not shoulders up here, not racing around, not going 100 miles an hour. So, before you eat, take some nice deep breaths. Go for a 5-10 minute walk after you eat, right? Put your legs up on the wall after you eat or before you go to bed. These little things are going to make a bigger impact than taking any supplement, because it's your body naturally doing what it needs to calm down. Number 6, slow down when you eat. I am so guilty of this one, of not slowing down. I'm at my studio, I'm walking around eating my food, I'm talking, I'm doing all the things. Even at home, sometimes I'll stand up and I'll be like, take a bites and I'll go do something. I'm horrible. I admit it, I'm horrible. I really need to focus on this. But this is easy. Sit down. Put your phone away, chew your food, take some deep breaths. Maybe if you're, like the other day I was noticing I started thinking about some things. I was getting a little stressed and I was going to eat. I was like, no, I need to just take some deep breaths, calm down my central nervous system so that when I eat, my digestion isn't all angry and makes me get bloated, because that's happened to me before. So put your fork down between bites, chew your food, take some nice deep breaths before you start. Some of us are eating so fast that the gut never gets to signal the body to properly break down the food. I'm going to give you one little also added thing here. Take digestive enzymes. If you're not doing them and you're in your 40s and beyond, you need to take them. Just 100%. Unless you have no gas or bloating, great. If you do, I suggest, if you want to know which those are, reach out to me, because these are game changer for so many women. And you may not need to take them all the time, but if this is happening right now, it'd probably be something you want to start. And then number 7 is protect your sleep. I know, you're like, what does sleep have to do with your gut? Well, your gut lining repairs itself overnight. So if you are sleeping less than 7 hours, it's constantly disrupting your microbiome. Gut and rest are part of the same. You need to repair your gut. You need to get good sleep, right? Because good sleep is also going to help us to not be stressed out the next day. It's also going to keep us from craving all the junk, right? So we need to do that. So getting your sleep, protect your sleep like nothing. Get a nighttime routine. Make sure you're eating all the macros that you need at your dinner so that you don't have blood sugar issues. Make sure you're turning off your lights and keeping lights calm, right? These things are going to help you with your sleep. So that's the gut first part, right? So here's what I want you to take away from this today. So this bloating, the weight, the cravings, all the exhaustion, all the things, it's not something random that's happening. It's your gut that's going through hormonal shifts, and you need to support it in a different way than you have previously. And some people, I just don't want to. That's fine. But don't expect your body to change. Don't expect to feel better. Don't expect to get any results if you're not willing to make the changes. And don't try to do all these things at once, right? Start with the one thing. Remove the foods. Get rid of those for a couple weeks and then see how your body feels. Maybe that's all you need to do, because maybe that itself is going to make your body feel better. You're going to be able to manage stress better. You're going to, all the things, right? Start with one thing and then add on. I will drop a little sheet below in the comments for you if you want to pick it up with these steps that I talked about. And then next week, we're going to move on to living in your body. This one's huge. This is talking about movement and paying attention to your body, coming back to home to yourself, how you need to be in your body, right? Being aware and stopping and paying attention. This is huge. Being body aware is something we just don't do because we're so busy. So you don't want to miss out on that one. And again, like I mentioned before, if you haven't already, make sure you're on my email list, because that's where I share more things than you don't miss if I post them in here. And sometimes I don't post them in here. So the link is in the group description in the Facebook group. It's also going to be in the comments and the show notes. So that's all I got for you today. All right, so thank you so much for listening. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions, drop them below. I'm here to answer. If you had any questions about the things I talked about, reach out to me, or you can comment below and I will answer them. And I will see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. If today's episode hit home, make sure to subscribe to the show and share it with a friend who needs it too. And if you're ready for more support, come hang out with us in the Fit Chicks and Hormones community. The link is in the show notes. And until next time, keep showing up for yourself. You deserve it.